You're right about it. Like DISC, like different. Already the Kindles for that.
If you already know, you're anything like that, I can. Bring it together. Alright, Bobby, you're up.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Of course.
I have to go upstairs. I don't know. Something else.
We meet.
Mike? Yeah, Mike. She's like, she wanted to introduce me right now. I was like, yeah, there, she's texting me. What's great help. She's the rep, though. She's not the escrow officer.
Oh,
Thanks, sir.
Again,
She good?
yeah, she.
Pays it wrong. Very good. Yeah, so I'll see. I have somebody right now, but they're off open house stuff, so.
Oh, yeah. She, let me know if you need to get this. Let me know if you need.
Okay, yeah, I will bring it down. That's good. Yes.
Which,
Fuck, I'm putting them in.
I'm sorry, I think you know how that, talk about too. So I'll let you
It
know.
was the one who has.
Yes, no, the Sally one. That was, you have everything else. Let me know if you need, yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Run with some coffee while you be back. If he up now, and you come in here and gonna be on.
Right now, yeah.
He's gonna be on the screen.
Yep, I'll be on the screen and in here in person.
Oh, I'm going to it.
Yeah, he's here, he's here.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna sit and listen because it's nice to know how this things here. It could be, it takes some money and make money and put it together or something.
Yeah, it's that legacy that,
Oh, I can see. Relationship, you don't know about it.
I hear that.
You know, it's nice.
Actually,
Excuse me.
oh yeah, please go.
Walking like I'm so still, right?
Hey, everybody.
It's full of us.
Well, welcome, a couple more minutes.
Come on, let me grab my phone. Yeah.
All right, we're on. All right, next, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Well, not if you can hear me.
Can you hear us? Oh.
No, you can't.
I don't know about this thing. Is, every summer,
review or hire people for this, or
No, it's like,
connecting with sellers or something like that, or something.
no, pretty much depending on who you're talking to, how to talk to them.
Right,
Some people are direct, some people aren't.
Conversation,
there you go.
learn who you're talking to.
Yeah, it makes a big difference,
Shut
especially,
up and listen.
yeah.
Oops, sorry, world.
When you're like engineers or
It's
people
gonna
that,
be a deep hole.
yeah,
But make your point.
I definitely some good things to be aware of when you're, connecting with people.
But it's nice to have an eye person though. Next time I go, start the party.
Yeah, sure,
But it need to be validated.
yeah. I can use the disc to hire people. I would go into it to a great extent for like connecting with
I
sellers.
have heard about it, but when I got here,
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not interested.
yeah, there's a lot of assessments that are recommended. Especially when you're about to hire, I mean, we have like a KPA here, or about the predictive index, you know, this, like there's all these different things. So we're kind of running business, connecting with people.
Getting better. Paying attention.
For sure. What's up, Zoom land? How's everybody doing? Anybody hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. What's up, Rachel? How are you today?
Good. And you?
I'm well. Yeah, we're inside. I think it's 105 today.
It is hot.
Anybody that's in the office space, office world
Yep, oh wow.
is definitely living the good life these days. I got I do fixes and flips and all that, and I got a number of guys that are working out in the heat, and it sucks. I think you're almost working half the day. You gotta get off at almost 1 or 2 or something like that. So definitely a little more challenging. Maybe we'll wait like minutes. Sorry, what was that?
I was talking to myself, sorry.
Someone's always listening that way. We got a couple more minutes, maybe, if some people want to. We'll just go around, like, introduce yourselves. How are you doing?
Hi, everybody. That's the front center coordinator, Alicia. I'm the front desk and I support with all the printer struggles. And I'm very interested in learning all I can know about investing. Yeah,
Cool.
so that's all.
Yeah, I saw for Angela also. And I'm just an agent here, kind of also. Kind of like, you know,
You've been searching for deals, man. How's it been going?
haven't been searching lately, I ran out of money.
Mhm.
But it's all right. Like, I tried through expireds, or I tried through, we're calling realtors, we're setting it by like price per square foot and see what's out there and,
On LOS.
yeah, nonetheless.
And do you find deals for Andre as well, or
Lately,
no?
well, I mean, we got some we're working on, so it's I got a bunch of stuff. kind of
Yeah.
bouncing on that.
Hit a cap or something? Well, I'm always
Yeah.
so. Mike, got a coin out there. Just us a little bit. Who you are, background?
Mike, I started in 2021. I mean, two accounts in one. Violent homes, but and then I stopped in 2019 and then actually purchased 2 homes in 2023, but I haven't since then. So things change over time, so I'm just here to learn, see what's smooth. Trying to get back into property.
Cool.
My name is Genevieve Curly, I'm in the office, call me Miss G. I'm retired after 34 years on one job. I had my license since 1986. And I've always had a love for real estate. And when I purchased my own home, I became very aware of many things. And just want to learn how to take what I have and make more out of it. And I think flipping at some point in the line will help with my investment related to my retirement so I can travel.
Yeah.
Don't want to work hard, so work smart.
There you go. I think you came to, I did a class maybe a month ago or 2 weeks ago about like rental properties, and we talked about like self-directed IRAs and stuff like that, and all types of ways to utilize business funds or connect with people and, get in rooms, never know what ideas start floating around and get.
Oh, yeah, my name's Frank. I work with Joe Homebuyer. We're a wholesale fix flip company out of Roseville. I'm here because I'd like to learn how to actually flip properties. I know how to find deals and how to negotiate, but I don't know what it takes to make a ugly house, beautiful house. And with regulation happening, on the horizon for wholesale, I think adding an extra skill set to, my understanding of real estate. Why is it need to start getting hit up?
There you go. Yeah, for sure. In, the retail space of selling properties, wholesaling as well. So a couple of different ways, you can find deals, you can get them a contract, you can sell them to another investor, or you can, take them down yourself. So we're talking about flipping, and, here comes the grandmaster himself. What's up, dude? What's up? Well, you made an appearance. Where are you? What's up? We're doing some intros. You wanna finish it off and then I'll get rolling?
Introduce myself?
Yeah, sure.
My name is Mitch Craig, I'm a local investor, do the wholesale, get some flip, and, yeah, kind of a similar operation to what Bobby's created. I'll probably tell you, copy my. My blueprint, but no, totally joking.
Yes, that thing's done.
But that would be him being modest, so, but anyway, yeah, I'm a local investor and, do a lot of the same things that Bobby does. I dabble in the conventional world too, but, most typically just to, Frank is on my team, so he works really on the market side. We work deeply off market, go direct to seller, we'll do a lot of marketing and deal making that people in the conventional real estate world, it absolutely blows their minds. Brings them out, outside of their bubble in their box and try to make deals happen where normal real estate people just can't make it happen. So that's kind of what I'm a total deal junkie, and that's what kind of feeds my soul every day. That's me.
Your mission statement's like solving problems with innovative solutions or something like that.
Improving lives and creating real estate solutions. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, Mitch and I actually just did a deal together. We partnered on 3 or 4 or 5 deals or something like that. And I utilized my IRA account that we were talking about like a few weeks ago, and in theory lent money to him, partnered on the deal, and didn't work out as amazingly as we might have thought almost a year ago, but at the end of the day, we still made some money, and there's some home runs, there's some base hits, and all the above. So anyways,
I'd say that was a win. Okay, when I think about it, like, was the check as big as we wanted in the end? No, it absolutely wasn't. But we definitely improved some lives through creative real estate solutions on that deal.
yeah,
We
absolutely.
improved the seller, absolutely saved the day for a seller.
Yeah,
We got the young agents some commissions.
it's true.
Okay.
Listed the property with Luke here, and we're
Yeah.
well aware that he's a pit bull and we got after it.
Absolutely. We put contractors to work and fed some of their families for a period of time. And did the property sit on the market for a long period of time? It was not comfortable. But did we make more money than we had a year ago?
Yes.
No, we totally did. It's okay. And one of the keys in this business is having a short memory. If something doesn't pan out the way you want it, short memory, move forward.
Absolutely.
And also on the wins, short memory, move forward.
That's all like the glass half full, maybe my perspective, and yours, half empty type thing. Definitely it's all perspective, right? There's a lot of things to be grateful for. It all making sense, moving forward. And there was a mobile home that we did, maybe I mentioned at the beginning, and I actually did 3 mobile homes this year, oddly enough. The past 12 months, definitely learned a lot with every experience, but we'll get rolling here. For those of you, I saw a bunch of people on Zoom land, some, I don't think I know a lot of you, but how you doing? My name is Bobby Peterson. I am here in this market center. I'm in the Natomas branch. My wife and I have a team. I've been here almost 7.5 years. A little bit of background here. My family got 2 little guys, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. I met my wife here. Pretty cool love story here at Keller Williams, and a few of those. So I'm single, looking for significant other. This isn't a bad place to come up. Started the company 3 Point Real Estate that really focused on flips, property management and sales. Mentor Chris McPhail, and really followed his blueprint back then, almost 8-9 years ago. And started finding deals for him. I JV'd on some different opportunities, basically similar to what Mitch and I just talked about. I invested some money in some of his deals. I just found him deals, and then eventually bought some on my own. In 2016, I bought my first flips, and they all came from one came from a hard money lender, one came from a realtor, and then an attorney and a probate attorney. So we're gonna talk some about how to find deals, a little bit about structuring, how to analyze a deal. Overall, go through all this. Learned a lot, failed a bunch. I bought a lot of rentals along the way. Currently have 50 units in the rental portfolio. A lot of them have all been from finding distressed properties, whether they were fixers or creative finance type deals or all the above. They've all been put together, mainly buying with hard money loans or creative financing, and then fixing them up and rehabbing them. Flipped over 100 homes and now currently doing about 6 to 7 deals a month, so we're pretty active. Got some funny pictures of my buddy Kevin McDonald here, for those of you that I did a presentation in his office like about a month or so ago, so Sam threw some funny little pictures of Kevin draw the slide, and I didn't get the end of them out yet. So when you see this weird face jumping around, it's Kevin. He's a top ruler in plaster counting on my buddy. So he goes to your guys' meetup. What did I learn? So, different things here, right? You mentioned like investing, it could be dream, you were a chiropractor and buying real estate and doing a few flips, everything's like that. One thing I learned, right, having multiple sources of income can be beneficial, right? Started out being a realtor, flipping on the side, started getting some rentals, and really, the wealth that I've created from the rentals that I've purchased in the past years. And for realtors, right, what is the benefit? Potentially finding 2 to 3 commissions per deal, right? If you bring a deal to a investor, you have the opportunity to work out commissions on the front end. You can list it on the back end. So ultimately, 2 things here: finding properties for yourself, finding properties for investors, or potentially holding on to that property for a rental. Made a lot of mistakes along the way, which we'll discuss a few of them. Here's a little quote that I kind of put in here, and I think it's for, again, like a traditional realtor. Maybe you're working with a lot of regular, home buyers that are looking to move in the property, or traditional sellers. Again, working with an investor, a little different. You have an opportunity to make multiple commissions on a deal. But this is a quote from a book of, it's a full law: change your thinking, change your world, and transform your filter system, your particular activating system. So just kind of a keynote, like why work with investors, right? Again, multiple opportunities for commissions and properties for yourself. But this is the type of thing when you're on the road and maybe you're looking for a Tesla, right? If you're looking to purchase whatever car that is, you're automatically going to find more of those cars as you're driving on the freeway. Same concept with finding distressed properties, right? If you're going to your next appointment and potentially you're driving around the neighborhoods, you're likely going to see something, if your mindset shifts a little bit, with a tarp on the roof, or broken windows, or cars on the lawn, or anything like that, right? Just thinking a little differently can be important for you to potentially find some deals wherever they make up, right? There's opportunities pretty much everywhere, and method driving for dollars is a big way that we do find properties where we're literally driving around or going to other appointments, writing down addresses, putting them in our database, and then following up with them. So just thinking a little differently can certainly create opportunities for more income. So we're gonna talk about finding deals. This was a property did a handful of years ago, the fire damage property, and made it look pretty, but certainly can be a lot of work. Done a handful of fire damage properties. We'll talk about a number of different ways that you can find properties like this. So mistakes that I made: permitting process with planned engineering and delays. Finding properties is obviously a challenging part, getting into the property and then figuring out what your game plan is. Are you gonna be removing walls? Are you going to be, doing additions? Are you gonna do, adding a bathroom, bedroom, anything like that? That process can take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. So a lot of people, when sometimes they're bringing deals or bringing opportunities, sometimes you do want a more cookie cutter property, so you can have a timeline pretty quickly. So anytime you're moving a wall, technically you're supposed to get plans all set with engineering, and that process can be 2 months to get all the plans and engineering, and then another 2 months to submit to the county to get that back. So you're talking 4 to 5 months, and then you have the actual construction, right? So something that I certainly ran into a few times that can be problematic is time is money when you're flipping properties, right? Underestimating rehab costs, working with bad contractors, hard money costs. We purchased a lot of properties with private investor loans. So you tend to buy properties on a 10% loan. And again, if you're going down the rabbit hole of working with the county and doing additions and things like that, you're gonna have some pretty long timelines that's gonna eat your profits, right? Spending marketing dollars without direction. So when I first got started, I listened to some podcasts and threw some money at a few different avenues, but in reality, you know, once things got a little more dialed in, I joined some masterminds, some coaching programs, and was able to get a better, clearer blueprint for, if I put my money here, if you do things this way, then you're gonna get a better return on everything. So having better direction was an important thing that I figured out really the last 2 to 3 years. So I put a slide in here, basically how, for the most part, we calculate deals, right? And this is kind of just an easy template here for when to analyze, because some people, you know, they'll reach out to us and they'll say, how do we know if something's a deal, right? This is somewhat an easy template. So if something's a pretty heavy fixer, right? If it needs your roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, windows, again, like time is the biggest hurdle. It needs a full interior rehab. This is gonna need a bigger spread per se. So when we say 50 to 55% of ARV is your after repair value, right? So that house today would be selling on the market at 500,000. We would likely need to buy it for 250 if it needed absolutely everything. Again, roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, windows, all the above. And why? Again, that's gonna be a longer remodel project. It could take 3 months instead of maybe 6 weeks or so. That's an extra month on payments per se. Maybe it sits longer because you're in a higher price point, whatever it might work out to be, generally 50-50. Next here, 60 to 70% of after repair value for medium fixer. That's the full interior remodel. Full interior is basically your kitchen, your bathrooms, your floors, kind of your basic remodel per se. And then I put like 2 bigger items, which we had above, which maybe your bigger item is a roof or an HVAC, or it would be maybe windows and plumbing, something like that. But 2 of the bigger items kind of run themselves out. Then you got your light fixers, 70 to 80% ARV. So, you know, something like this, if your after repair value was 500,000, potentially you could buy it for 400 or 420 if it needed kind of a light remodel. And you might kind of hear that number, right? You need to buy it for 400,000, it's worth 500,000. When you acquire a property, right, there's an acquisition cost. There's resale costs when you list it on the back end where you gotta pay realtor commissions, you're paying closing costs on the front and the back. There's still generally some interest. Again, we buy with hard money loans. There's some interest in the middle, and then maybe you only gotta put in 20 or 30,000 into it when you're just doing a light fixer, but 20,000 does not go a long way on a remodel. So general formula that we'll give to realtors or partners or wholesalers, and it can be like a pretty common term when people ask you what percentage of ARV do you buy a property at, and we'll say maybe 65% or 60 or whatever it may be. So if you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to let me know. Kind of have another a little cheat sheet here of some general costs that we run into. So demo, dumpsters are pretty expensive these days. Just to get like a 40-yard bin over your house can be $800 to $1,000. Floors to install can be about $4 to $5 per foot. That's installed. Your material tends to be about $2, and then the labor tends to be about $2. Your paint can be about $2 to $3 per foot. Your kitchen could be $7,000 to $10,000. This is not necessarily appliances, but maybe cabinets, maybe $100. Bathroom, 6,000 to 8,000, roof, 8,000 to 15,000. A lot of this depends on the size and how custom or fancy you get on the stuff. I do buy a lot of this stuff at Home Depot because it can be easier for my contractors and vendors to take me out of the podium. Windows, 250 to 300 per window. Your hot water heater, $1,000. Landing paving, 2,000 to 10,000. Dry rock, really varies. Doors, trim, baseboards, 4,000. We do have some like spreadsheets, if some folks want them, that kind of gives you like a full breakdown of we input a deal and basically calculates everything to let us know if it's something to move forward on or not, and my team has. I generally run everything in my head. I've flipped quite a few properties over the years, so at times people may find that I just put everything in like Google Notes in my phone, but I've done enough of these where I do have a pretty good idea. There's always gonna be hidden surprises, but this is kind of a general breakdown that we'll use.
Good question. So, let's say windows, you put 2 people here, 30 per. What about, if it's stucco, you gotta cut out one on the sides and maybe stucco that section or no?
So this would be for your retrofit windows. So generally, I like doing it that way because you start reframing a window and it just gets kind of complicated. And you technically are supposed to have a different permitting process when you reframe a window. But generally, you shouldn't be cutting around the stucco. You should like slide it out or cut the pins off, whatever, and then slide it in. So it's pretty easy and very quick. But the turn time for windows tends to be like 4 weeks at times, sometimes 6. It's like a super custom window. So Windows is kind of the main thing on that list that there's a lag time. So I've done projects where I bought it, and literally I'm like, we gotta order Windows immediately, or in some cases, order the Windows before we close. But we try to finish these projects in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, order stuff before you close
Windows sometimes, yeah.
or permitting process?
So the permitting process, we will start ahead of time, and specifically if we're doing like an addition or something crazy. I've really been trying to stay away from the bigger projects lately. But in the past, when we're at escrow, I would have my designer go out and start drawing out the plans, weeks before we close. And sometimes trying to get an extension, just knowing there's gonna be a long back time, getting the designer, the engineer, kind of everything ready to go ahead of time, so then they can submit to the planning department, because that is definitely a long process. So it's kind of, getting into a little bit of how to find a deal, kind of how we run some numbers on what things cost. Now I'll talk a little bit about, what is a distressed seller? How do we find some deals? We're gonna talk about some different marketing channels. So for the most part, right, distressed situation, is a higher probability of selling when the owner has some type of issues, financial issues. They've inherited the property, tax liens, all of the above. So the top ones that we tend to get properties on recently, probates and trusts and foreclosures. That's been a big one lately that I've noticed. And I will say when I've done a lot of, I've started marketing far more the past 18 months to 2 years. And it is before that, it didn't seem like we were getting a ton of foreclosure deals. It's because, COVID regulations in California, there were no foreclosures for a really long time. Like they're moving swiftly these days. Like they're foreclosing properties in 60 to 90 days. So it's definitely a pretty good source to find properties, and also just find properties potentially at the auction steps, but in particular, notice of defaults or notice of trustee sales. Code violations, picked up a number of properties that sellers just, if it was a rental property, maybe they were getting, I don't want to say harassed, but a lot of letters from the county about improving their property up to, the county standards. So they get tired of the property and they'll just move along. Fire damage properties can be a pretty good one actually, because you have, a lot of times you'll get a check from the insurance company, right? So it can be a little easier to negotiate those properties if they're getting an adjuster to go out and they decided that, it's gonna cost $300,000 to do this pretty heavy remodel, right, or rehab. And maybe I can get it done for like 150 or 200 or something like that, right? It can be easier to negotiate with that seller. We actually had one recently. I was trying to get her on Rich, and we offered like 215 or something like that. They're getting a check from the insurance company for 270. And he showed us the pictures ahead of time. It was a fixer, pretty much. It was the guy owned it. He had some renters in there, squatters in there. The squatters broke in, did him a favor, burned the house down pretty much. And he almost got market value, like almost $500,000 when the property was probably worth like 350. So kind of crazy scenarios, but again, it'd be easier to negotiate those situations when they're getting a check from the insurance company. It could be water damage as well. So sometimes checking with like adjusters, restoration companies, things like that can be good referral sources.
So you're getting an insurance check and your cash offer.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't have to be closed either. So this guy, it was an antelope, again, I think it was on, I didn't get the deal, but I offered like 210, 215. He was working with the adjuster and for a while, and sometimes they get a couple different bids, or a couple different adjusters, don't know the whole process. But yeah, the case was not closed yet, so the claim was still open, right? They were able to close escrow and still be able to get that check on the back end, and get the 200,000 up front from the investor. So again, it can be an easier process. Landlords are not emotionally attached to their home, right? So in theory, they don't care as much. A traditional homeowner, right, their house, they live in it, but have memories there. They are likely, gonna wanna maybe fix it up, hire a contractor, go through that process. But it's challenging to manage a contractor, go through that whole process. It could be a 6 to 8 month remodel, rehab. So in theory, like that landlord, like, do they really want to go through all that? They just take the money and run it, so rental property, move on to the next type of thing. And then absentee, vacant, bad tenants, evictions. I wish the eviction laws would start moving a little quicker, but that's still about 4 to 6 months in California that I'm aware of. Whereas foreclosures are definitely moving quicker. Again, any questions, let me know. Different marketing channels that we utilize, we direct mail, online leads, Facebook leads, YouTube video stores, pay-per-click, TV ads, radio, driving for dollars, cold calling, texting, and then investment groups, networking. Mitch runs a meetup in the Roseville area. I run one in Sacramento general area, sometimes downtown, sometimes Garden Highway, just down the street at Prados. And they've been a great source for connecting. Mitch and I met through the event. I don't know, it's been a year and a half or something like that now. Done probably 4 or 5 deals again together. I've done deals with other people there. So getting out, networking. Majority of the deals I've done in my career to date have been through connecting with attorneys, realtors, lenders, other wholesalers, investors. So definitely networking. Spending money to make money. I brought up a couple examples like Michael Stores in this office, Tom Dave's out in Roseville, Shelby Elias, like, obviously we're kind of in a down market right now with the traditional real estate space. But some of the big players that have not taken a huge decrease in their volume have been folks that are spending money. Michael Stores is, had the most market share in this region for, and I say Natomas area, for probably like 20, 30 years. And he drops flyers every single month for the last 20, 30 years on doorsteps in Natomas. So everybody knows who Michael Stores is, right? Spending 100,000 roughly, whatever, I don't know exactly what it is. But his business has stayed consistent even through this downturn, right? Shelby's a lender that partners with a lot of realtors and spends money on paid ads, Zillow, or all the above. Tom Daves is, again, one of the bigger hitters. He's with EXP, Stu Keller Williams, has a huge marketing budget. These guys are still selling homes. So, took me a while to kind of understand and adopt that model. And marketing budget has definitely increased the last couple of years, but here's a few examples. Most have seen maybe Laurel on TV. Laurel buys homes. I think Osborne Homes is another one that's on TV, but you know, they spend a lot of money, but they get a return on their investment. I think in general, you want to aim for like a 4 to 5x. Means if you spend $1, you get 4 or 5 back, right? So here's kind of some of the different ways that people are spending money: TV, radio, PPC, Facebook ads. PPC is pay per click. It's a Google ad, so you can do it yourself, or you can hire a company, an account manager, and they'll run your ads for you. But some of these leads can be costly, but you can get investor leads, you can get stress seller leads, you can get traditional seller leads. So definitely to an extent, you got to pay to play to get a return. Just the more like traditional ways, again, like driving for dollars is a huge way to add people into your database. Again, drive around the neighborhood, you see a house with a tarp on it, or over a lawn, or a car, or whatever. There's an app called Deal Machine. Literally you drive around, you take pictures of the house, and then instantly it kind of goes into your CRM right there. You can text them, call them, mail them instantly from the app. So it's pretty cool to keep them organized instead of just, you know, driving around, putting it down on a piece of paper or, you know, email or something like that. Kind of creates like an organized CRM as you're driving around. It's called skip tracing. It's the term that you get that record into your database, and then you pay maybe 10 cents or something like that. And you can get their phone number, their email, and then you have the ability to call and email them instantly. Or you go, you know, maybe they don't live in that property, maybe it's non-owner occupied, you can give you the address, and then you go maybe door knock the other house or send a mailing. So pretty cool app. Again, a few things to look for is overgrown lawns, truckers, boarded up windows, abandoned vehicles, things like that. So I have a couple of guys that I know in Napa. They have a huge mailing campaign. They spend $60,000 to $80,000 a month, kind of crazy. And literally, they don't buy any lists, but they just hire actual virtual assistants. And I think they're creating an AI model to go on Google Maps and literally walk around neighborhoods on Google Maps. And that's how they create this massive list. Where in some cases, in a lot of cases, and they did a lot of research, they feel they get better data driving for dollars, like real-time data, because they're seeing the condition of this house in the neighborhood, than pulling lists from some of the other big players that sell lists. So there's definitely something to drive for dollars, more legwork, but the machine kind of creates an app that can make it a little easier.
You know, I'll kind of just add on to that a little bit. The power of a driving for dollars list is really strong. Mostly because a lot of investors are pulling lists off public record that anybody can pull. But that driving for dollars list is yours and yours. So you're looking at physical stress as opposed to perceived potential like financial distress for somebody who owns a property in the lists that people might pull from public record. You're looking at the distress of the person, the physical distress of the properties. So and not everybody is doing it. Nobody has the time and energy that will put in the effort to do that. So it's especially for people who are getting started in real estate investing, it's really a great thing to get going at low enough costs.
Yeah,
Very, very high.
yeah, and as you said, like not as much competition because you know the probate list or some of these notice of default lists, like everybody's mailing them. They're getting hundreds of mailers. So being able to drive around like real-time data, be able to find folks before they hit from those lists, maybe possibly get there first. A couple other tools that we use, and this is some of it's just data, right? You can do the drive for dollars, or you pay for it on batch leads or prop streams, like $100 a month. I think you can pull almost 10,000 records, and you do something called list stacking, where you can find one that if they, maybe someone inherited the property and the water got shut off, and they live out of state, right? You're finding these 3 different tiers to create a score that's a higher likelihood that they're going to sell the property. So a lot of these different data providers will score it based on that. And skip trace, sending a mail text. Foreclosures daily is another one where you get kind of real-time data that I was using for a while. Specifically like probate data, because there's records that come in. Prop stream and batch leads, I think their data tends to be 30 to 45 days old, where if you get foreclosures daily, it's real-time data where you come in instantly as it's filed at the courthouse. Mojo dialer and ready mode is something we use for cold call, just dialer. I mentioned deal machine. We use a lot of VAs, so investor VAs and cyberback. There's a couple companies where we found some VAs that actually just go on Upwork. You can on Fiverr or some. I have a cold caller and lead manager cold caller in Egypt right now. I have someone in I think Pakistan that was doing our video editing, and then I have a actual assistant in the Philippines. So we've been utilizing VAs for like 4 or 5 years now, and so you can get literally for like $6 to $10 an hour. You can get some pretty resourceful help, well-educated folks that are definitely, open to providing services, and they're seeking. List stacking kind of went over earlier, but basically, you cross-reference everything where it's inherited property and it has maybe a notice of default, code violations, again, there's a score to it, and it's much more likely that they're going to be selling the property. We talked about foreclosure daily. I think this was talking about, so yeah, texting, calling, all the above, mailing. Just be mindful of the TCPA laws. I know that our brokerage in particular wants to make sure people are mindful of that, but technically you're not supposed to be spamming people with text and calls and things like that. Here, final picture. Yeah. Your network is your net worth. So again, a lot of the deals that I have found over the years have been from referrals. So hard money lenders, and those are folks that basically can find you other investors to invest in your deal. Basically, you're putting some money down. The hard money lenders are the ones financing the project on distressed deals. So the majority of fix and flip properties that we do buy, we get a hard money loans in the big shops like Kiavi. And Tribal Capital is another one here, but they often have deals because maybe they're working with another buyer and it didn't work out for them. So they can be a good resource for, if their buyer backed out, maybe they want to sell you the loan per se, if they have a deal. So there's been some opportunities there that we pick this up. Restoration companies, again, if it's fire, mold, water damage, they're often people that are getting an insurance check and would be willing to sell it. Contractors that are specifically in restoration niche, insurance agents for the same reason, realtors. Again, for getting multiple commissions can be good for anybody who's an actual realtor, and then also for networking as well. Wholesalers, again, going to like some of the meetups, there's good opportunities to meet a lot of people that have opportunities, have deals, maybe to do joint ventures on them. But a wholesaler, again, is someone who basically gets a contract with the seller, and they're looking to make a fee and sell it to that end buyer. So for a long time, a big source of my business was wholesalers, and still is. So definitely, expanding the network and letting people know that you're buying homes is important. Divorce attorneys, bankruptcy attorneys, probate attorneys as well is not on there, but when I first got into this industry, I've always been one to kind of seek referral partners. So I literally was just calling probate attorneys, and it was the thought of, I could get a listing out of this, I could provide a service, I could maybe get a flip from them and help them out in another way. Divorce, same way. Bankruptcy, we probably have a couple bankruptcy attorneys that we work with right now that we get listings or flip opportunities. So certainly expanding the network. On the attorney side, just like there's a Sacramento Real Estate Association, there are attorney associations. They have one over by Howe Avenue. Again, like 7, 8 years ago, I would go to luncheons, I would sponsor events, I would go there, get in front of as many attorneys, fiduciaries, trust officers, the 3 of those partners within the field, come across a lot of opportunities where they could be a good deal for an investor. And again, maybe multiple questions are listed on the back end. Best practices, again, full public records, call, text, mail. I think it's on the probate side. So on MLS, like if you're looking to connect with more agents that sell on probate deals, you can go on there and you can filter them, right? You can filter for probate, you can filter for REO, divorce, you can bankruptcy, all the above. Then you can find realtors that are doing more business within that field, right? And then you could call them, say you're working with myself or another buyer, but it's a way to find realtors that are doing more deals with probate or whatnot and search them out on MLS. I don't know, foreclosure, find deals on MLS, kind of the same thing, in description, searching fixers, handyman special, creative financing. If you're seeing deals that have come back on the market, 60 days plus, days on market, multiple price drops. Marketing on MLS, like it certainly can be more challenging. I know Brian's mentioned that you submitted a lot of offers online. You still,
Like, I actually got one.
yeah.
My first one was off of the MLS.
How many offers did you have to make to like get a deal?
That one was just my first offer.
Did your first offer?
First offer and got accepted. Part of that though was because I kind of got an inside scoop from talking to other agents. And the other agent said, hey, my buyer is gonna be likely canceling. And this opportunity is gonna be opened up. And that's just from, literally, I don't know who the agent was, I met him while I was showing property. And just asked him, hey, you know, and that's why it's so important to ask that question, like, do you know anybody or the deal that might be coming up? And literally he told me the buyer's canceling a potential flip. He gave me the address. Before they canceled, I reached out to the listing agent and submitted a backup offer. Hey, I don't know what's going on with current escrow. Here's a backup offer in case it falls through. And sure enough, they accepted it.
I'll stress the importance of that last question. I mean, I could care less about the entire conversation if it's just to get to know somebody, but that last question of, do you have anything else coming up, or does anything else come to mind? Yeah, literally sparks what other agents probably, or wholesalers would never tap into, something that would be one of the select few people who never read.
Yeah. I mean, sorry for, I know you were trying to make the 2%.
One for one, 1%. I've had, yeah, we've run some like systems at times where you submit like, you know, numerous offers on properties online.
Yeah.
And I've talked to some other guys that like run it full fledged, but maybe they're trying to get like 1 or 2 properties a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Like bigger numbers, but if you're like working with investors and you wanted to submit offers online, I would say you're almost in like the 2, maybe 5%, or you gotta submit like 100 offers. Almost to get like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And it depends too, the more networking you do, that percentage just rises and rises and rises, right? If you're totally just like, if you're just going straight to the MLS and making offers off there with no relationships with the agents and all that, that's what, you know, that's what that percentage might reflect.
Yeah.
But the more you are, you know, if a hard deal comes to somebody's mind and you're the first person they think about because you solve problems, like, man, you know, Frank, I mean, what's your percentage?
As far as actually on MLS goes,
MLS, working with agents, like,
this is
on market.
Okay.
On market.
Yeah, on market. Yeah, that's a good on market percentage, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I'm usually trying to get into the populace, but yeah, as far as my market goes, very, very slim. It's usually someone falling out of a deal, or you time the agent correctly where they're just about to do a price drop and you're thinking, hold the phone, don't do that quite yet. Let me see if I can make something work right around where you're gonna price drop to. That way the perception is still there.
And getting a head start before they do price drop.
Absolutely.
Cause like the seller has motivation, like I feel off market deals, like sometimes you can see ahead of time, but people are listing it way 400,000 and then it's accepted 300, 280 or 320 or something like that. It's kind of crazy sometimes when you see it sold and you're like, whoa, like how much they took less. So obviously having an inside scoop or just making the calls and sometimes being first, right? You talk to them day 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 when it's listed and you just stay in contact with them. Then you got better chance of being that go-to person.
Bobby, are you finding them on MLS?
No.
No, you're not locking them in on the MLS at all? Cause I'm just thinking, are you writing offers like, you know, those guys exit as this, they're just writing offers in any house?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a fixer and trying to get a deal with that?
No. Probably like one a year do I buy on MLS.
Okay.
And it's something like what you said, where
Yes.
it's, someone brought me the deal and it's listed. I did buy one actually a month ago, but again, somebody in my mastermind is down in San Diego, the agent was down in San Diego. They said, call Bobby up north and in Sacramento, and, it was in Fair Oaks, it was listed at 620 and offered 500, and they took it.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I'm saying, like, the urgency and
Who's the listing agent there?
it was, again, someone down in San Diego, like, it's like, why don't you just drop the price 30 or 40,000?
Yeah.
Like, you think you get a lot more activity.
Oh, you drop it up to 500.
But some people, I don't know, like, if they have the anxiety and they need to get rid of it, they have some bills, or whatever the case is, it's like, they let the weekend go, or the 6 days go, and then you have some crazy low offer, and they're like, I just wanna be done with it.
Mhm.
Right, because maybe initially they wanted to go the investor route. And they got convinced to list it on the market. And, you know, they don't feel that comfortable with it, takes a couple of weeks to prep the listing, put it on, have some showings, nobody's interested. This easy, quick offer comes in, they're like, all right, let's take it. So that exit as is, it's like Matt Rodak or something like that. I don't know if you met that guy. Yeah, they put an offer on everything. They have an automated system that goes out, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. I've had a couple other guys that I've worked with. They submitting everything. You gotta have like a couple VAs or some in-house agents or whatever, kind of put it all together. Because they're submitting, I don't know, probably 1,000 offers. Maybe not that many, but you gotta think like it gets pretty confusing.
Yeah.
Like I watched the presentation of them. They're calling back. They have no idea what offer it was. Like.
Yeah.
Who submitted it, how many emails do they have going out daily, submitting offers, they gotta go through, so they gotta have like a pretty dialed in system.
Almost every listing I put up, I get.
Yeah, you know, they're consistent.
Yeah.
And that's creating branding,
They're
right?
also like calling, they're also following up every 2 weeks.
They got a good system with it,
They have a good
yeah.
system.
And I've heard him say the same thing, right, like, okay, if this deal doesn't work out, keep in mind you have anything else, right? You have anything off market, you know, you'll get deals that way, you know, that. It could just be a like branding play, exit as is, like everybody knows them, and
Yeah.
then really they're searching for the off market, but it's a way to get in front of agents.
Mhm.
Probably, yeah, for sure, I'm
Yeah,
sure they.
credibility line.
Yeah.
But I'll say on my side of it, you get an offer from them, talking about credibility, things like that. You could submit a multiple counter, to get an offer from them. Like, their offer could be junk. And you got, you know, it's 80,000 on your asking, and then you get this other buyer that's 15 grand on your asking. You're like, cool, I can submit a multiple counter, and this person will never know what this offer was. So like, they are probably single-handedly in our market, artificially, you know, inflating our market a little bit. Because I just had one of those and it worked out.
All right, Bobby, I know what you're saying.
12,000. Please, go ahead and submit an offer on my house real quick. Definitely can help out a little bit, squeeze a few more dollars. That's a fine line for sure. Kind of wraps it up, but yeah, Brian again asked, or it was this like, deals on market, like, you know, all that sky is an amazing deal, and someone brings it to you, and it's listed, those are like the only real opportunities. We don't see deals online. Everything that we do, we'll probably do about 75 deals this year. Everything is pretty much off market. And in reality, right, it goes on market, you can have 5, 10, 15 offers, right? There's just a lot more competition, so ultimately finding the pocket listings or off market deals is where you have better opportunities. Just last slide, just kind of learn and building your network. Podcasts that I listen to right now, Bigger Pockets. I don't listen to them as much, but they're kind of a well-rounded real estate podcast. David Green is an agent with Keller Williams and Brooklyn, I think it is. And it's got a large team, does a lot of business all over California. It's got a wealth of knowledge and they have guests for short-term rentals, long-term rentals, flipping, wholesaling, apartments, all the above, well rounded. Seven-figure flippers want to be good for flipping, wealthy investors, the group that I'm in, and the podcast by Ryan Pineda. Get Creative is Pace Morby. You're into creative deals, subject to financing, all that good stuff. That's a great one and a good person to follow on Instagram or all the above. Pace Morby again. Real estate instructors is Steve Trang. He's got a ton of great guests that I've gotten some tips and tricks from their podcast. Networking again, go to meetups. This stupid old. There's one in West Sac. It's not in Keeping Mill anymore. It's actually at Burgers and Brews. And I think off is it 6. Yeah. And then again, we have one that we host. I think we're gonna be back at Crawdads August 21st. We got a guy, Dean Rogers, coming. From San Diego, he does like 100+ deal wholesaling virtually, flipping virtually. I believe we'll be at Crawdads, and then Mitch, you got one August 7th?
Yeah, August 7th, well, I'm Stratton.
Stratton, cool, man. Bring in our Fresno pizza.
Yeah, deal chance, one by one.
And then, yeah, I've joined a couple communities. I think it's a good idea if you have more questions and getting involved. Pace Morby has a group, Ryan Pineda, Wealthy Investor, I joined about 1.5 years ago. It was definitely a great decision. Thankful that I did, and I recently joined another group called Collective Genius, so definitely getting into coaching, community program, things like that. If you have any questions, let me know. Here's my contact info, Instagram, email, all the above. Appreciate you guys on Zoom land and in person coming to hang and got any questions on it?
Thank you, Bobby.
Yes, thank you. That was great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Land.
Questions,
Yeah.
Bobby? Where's the question, Bobby?
How long you
Get up
allocating
to
that timeline wise right now, they're gonna do for each year?
I think 4 to 4.5 months, and I think it's always been that, but I've noticed, I'm just doing way more flips.
Including the permit process and when I'm not gonna get ahead of it, but.
I'm not doing any heavy projects right now. Okay. Yeah, I did buy like this apartment thing, and talked about that permitting process was complicated when it had code violations. I actually bought one in Antioch area, that was a duplex, that took a really long time. Sometimes when they have code violations, it can be pretty complicated. Certain counties are a lot easier to work with. We should have this lady that we started working with about a year ago. Range through, she does all the permitting process for you. The easy ones, maybe she's not as useful as, $300 or something like that, we just don't have to deal with the back and forth questions. But like, I'm doing an addition to the house that I bought, and she did everything for like $600. Like, additions are super complicated, working with, water, fire department, county, like, sometimes you got a lot of different things you gotta line up, make it work, so. But, in fact, you really got to collect the timelines, for the most part, not doing a lot of those heavier deals, but. I'm not holding birth on everything.
But when you're using hard money, are you borrowing the payments for that specific timeline? What happens?
Yeah,
So I'm using, in my calculation, about 6 months worth of payments.
and that's what I calculate, and that's kind of the numbers I run in like all of my projections.
Yeah.
I rarely hit 6 months, although it happens. And I think it kind of helps to give you a little cushion, or there's always gonna be expenses that pop up. And I don't have to look perfect formula, all these different, there's SMUD and utilities and property taxes and all that. Like, I think if I just kind of run that 6 months, sometimes then everything kind of equals out for the most part. But 4 months, like, I'm doing very basic projects.
So the carrying cost that you guys are calculating, you're calculating up to 6 months.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually just, and.
I think it's a good rule of thumb.
Good.
Like, it's, even if it's like lighter ones, sometimes.
I would just do like 3 or 4 months, honestly.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
was-
already new on this, so I haven't read burned yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how tight the rest of your budget is. Like, if you go over rehab budget, like, you can kind of get offset there. But at the end, if you're pro forma in 6 months, you can do much better than that. You do almost every time. It's just gravy if you stay on,
Yeah.
staying on budget. So
Yeah.
I do 6 months too.
months, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally last year I didn't go 28 or something, and it was like 4.5 months, 4 months. Cause sometimes you have the outliers, like I got, like we just did one, it was literally a year, and then, no, it wasn't, it was 8 months, so we leave the, well, this year. And then I did one in Fair Oaks. I think that one started in November as well. We finally found that. It depends on the price point too. Like, for the most part, you know, I can stay in like, you know, more average price points. I've dipped out of my
Thanks,
buy box. Yeah, thanks for coming. And I got something in like the 800 range, 700 range, 1,000,000 range.
Yeah,
Those are definitely taken.
and
But, okay, if you're like in the 500s and stuff, I don't know. I think days on market, it's good to estimate like 30 days.
yeah.
Like maybe 3 weeks, and then I don't know, maybe even 45 days. I feel like you get some cancellations sometimes. But, yeah. How's your other projects going?
Good. I just bought one last week too. in
Yeah?
Sunrise. So I got just in and out.
It's
Three right now.
I'm shut it down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mitch, we have our little mini hub here. Brian started flipping like 6 or 8 months ago. Guys like Andre, Chambers in his office, me, Rich Potts, you know, first team or something like that. Who else? Jose and Raul, Raul and Jonathan.
They're wholesaling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raul and John.
I don't know if I counted myself, but there's like 6 or 7 of us. These should be, it's great.
Yeah, you used to get
And
all
now,
these.
yeah, dude, now they're like,
Now you gotta spend more money.
I
Yeah.
feel like Taylor works this office the best right now.
Yeah.
Taylor is definitely getting a lot of deals right now.
I don't know anybody else.
John, Bernardo, but I think,
Rich,
Yeah.
I don't think they're like totally focused on it.
yeah.
Rich just kind of fell in his lap a little bit, and then the rest of us are like,
Seeking deals, yeah.
yeah.
John Moss, yeah.
I don't know.
John Moss is gonna do, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, someone was asking, Raul Polstone here, like, where do you find your buyers? I'm like, well, they're all actually in my office.
Yeah, I was talking to Raul and I was like, where are you finding buyers for? He's like, I don't even know how to do the advertising because Andre would buy them, you'll buy them, or Taylor would buy them.
Yeah, I was like, you keep selling Taylor, dude? How do I?
Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. I do have a couple, I have the subject to opportunity. Ways that
Zoom in.
a subject to opportunity. It's, I think we talked about it. It's out in like Carmichael, condo, 2,400 monthly payment,
Oh, yeah, that's the rate.
4.7.
Yeah,
Probably 2,200. So somebody would have taken negative cash flow with the appreciation.
I got 2 that are kind of negative cash flow condos.
Yeah.
Or sell it on the rat.
What's that?
Is there equity? Does it sell like